Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting under the hood, looking at one of automotive history's, well, true titans, Enzo Ferrari. Our mission, to quickly pull out his key achievements, the big life lessons, and the philosophy that drove him.
Absolutely. And this is important because Enzo Ferrari wasn't just some founder. He was determination personified. He basically took some pretty deep personal failures, setbacks, and hammered them into this global empire. And he ran it all with this iron grip, always pushing limits, both technical and human.
Let's start at the beginning then, which, like a lot of the Enzo story, seems a bit polished, maybe. His birth date, for instance, on February 20th, 1898 in Modena. But he always claimed it was the 18th. Why the discrepancy?
Yeah, that's classic Enzo. The story he told was that his father couldn't register the birth until the 20th because of like a massive snowstorm.
Yeah.
But you look at the weather records for Modena back then, no snow. Actually, it was nearly 11 degrees Celsius. Mild.
So right from the start, he's crafting his own narrative.
Exactly, creating this dramatic, maybe slightly larger-than-life story for himself.
Which maybe you could argue came from a tough start. I mean, he wasn't exactly a star student, right? Double failed first grade.
That's right. And his early dreams were all over the place. Opera singer, sports journalist, or, finally, a racing driver.
But then things got really hard. His world kind of fell apart.
Yeah, this is the crucial bit, the trauma that really fueled everything later. 1915, his father dies. Then 1916, his older brother Alfredo in the war. And then the real low point, probably. After surviving pleurisy himself, he was seriously ill. He travels to Turin. It's the harsh winter of 1918-1919. Goes to FIAT, looking for a job, and just gets turned away flat by the personnel director.
Oof. He talked about that moment, didn't he? Sitting alone on a bench in Valentino Park, just completely crushed.
Utterly defeated, yeah. That rejection, that feeling of despair, it seems like it was the crucible for him.
It didn't break him. It just hardened him, defined his ambition.
I think so. And if you trace that arc, you see him make this really interesting professional shift. It required, honestly, incredible self-awareness because he tried being a race car driver, did 41 races, won a single Grand Prix, then stopped in 1931.
And he knew he wasn't top tier.
He was very frank about it. His own words were something like, "I wanted to be a great pilot and I was not."
Wow. Admitting that limitation must have been key. It let him pivot to where he really excelled. So if he wasn't the driving ace or the tech genius designing the cars, how did he build it all?
Well, he defined his own role, his own genius, really. And it wasn't technical, it was managerial. This is maybe the key takeaway. He famously said, and this is brilliant, "I have never considered myself a designer, an inventor, but only an agitator."
An agitator.
Yeah, an agitator of men and technical problems. His genius was in pushing people, getting the absolute most out of them, making them match his own relentless pace, and constantly operating right at the bleeding edge of the technical regulations, sometimes maybe a little over.
Possibly. And you can't argue with the results that agitation produced. The Scuderia Ferrari, officially founded in 1947, the legacy is just immense.
It really is. Think about it. 15 Formula One drivers' titles, 16 constructors' titles, 9 wins at Le Mans.
Including that incredible run, 6 in a row from 1960 to 65.
Exactly. But for him, personally, the win that probably meant the most was settling an old score.
You mean against Alfa Romeo, his old employers, the ones connected to that FIAT rejection?
Precisely. That first F1 win for Ferrari 1951, Silverstone, Jose Furlan Gonzalez driving. They beat Alfa Romeo. And Enzo's reaction, he gave this quote that just lays bare how complex he was emotionally.
Right, the killing my mother quote.
That's the one. He said, "I cried with joy, but I also mixed tears of pain with tears of enthusiasm because that day I thought, I killed my mother."
Alpha was like his alma mater, you see.
It shows just how deeply personal it all was. Triumphing over the system that initially shut him out. Absolutely. Overcoming the past was a huge driver. But looking forward, his core philosophy, the lesson maybe for us today, was always about the next thing, never resting.
He put it very simply, didn't he? The most important victory will be the next.
That's it. That relentless forward focus, that's the ultimate lesson, I think. Success wasn't about being born the best driver or the best engineer he knew he wasn't. It came from, well, knowing himself, sheer force of will, and this unique ability to galvanize people, resources, everything towards one single goal: the future, the next win.
And as we wrap up, here's one last sort of curious detail. Think about the symbol he adopted, the prancing horse, the Cavalino Rampante. It came from a World War I fighter pilot, Francesco Baracca, a symbol of flight, of aviation. Yet Enzo Ferrari himself, he famously never flew in an airplane, ever. stayed rooted in Modena and Maranello.
Huh, never knew that. Adds another layer, doesn't it?
It does. A complex man, a mix of myth and reality. We definitely encourage you to dig deeper into the story of Enzo Ferrari.